Hi, I'm Brittany, a public servant in a charming little town. 8 years ago, I married Carter, my kindred spirit in public service. Our jobs demand constant relocation, so we live apart, our home a patchwork of temporary addresses, our family just the two of us. Each night, without fail, my phone lights up with Carter's message on WhatsApp. Sighing at tonight's meeting, I can't help but feel the weight of our perpetual long-distance dance. When will you be home? I text, the answer is always, shrouded in uncertainty. It's a conversation loop that's become the soundtrack of our 8-year marriage, never sharing more than virtual space. To some, our marriage might seem like a mere contract. But in our line of work, it's not unusual. We're federal civil servants, soldiers, to be exact, hopping from one base to another every few years. Amidst a routine WhatsApp chat years ago, the idea of buying an apartment in my hometown, Jackson, Mississippi, surfaced. That's a great idea, Carter had said, the possibility of a joint posting in Jackson igniting a spark of hope. Why not? We are a couple, aren't we? I had challenged his reluctance. Of course, we are, he'd replied, and the conversation moved on, as brisk as ever. So, I bought the apartment, a nest in Jackson, close to where my parents live, envisioning a shared future with Carter. Then, unexpectedly, a call from him replaced our usual WhatsApp ritual. A phone call was a rarity, a deviation from our norm. Hello? I answered, heart racing, as my parents planned their journey from Eugene, Oregon, to Kentucky, with a stop in Mississippi. Would it be all right if they stayed at your apartment? Carter's voice came through the phone, a hint of hesitance in his tone. They would really appreciate it. Of course, Carter, I replied, warmth in my voice. I haven't seen your parents since our wedding day. It's been too long. Thanks, Brittany. I owe you one. Bye for now, he said, and the line went dead. His words, brief as they were, hung in the air, a reminder of the distance between us. It struck me then, had it really been 8 years since I last saw my in-laws? I live in Mississippi, Carter crisscrosses the country, and his folks are settled in Eugene, Oregon. Our paths seldom cross. As I anticipated their visit, I planned to immerse them in the charms of Jackson. Hey there, Brittany. It's been ages, they greeted me upon arrival. How have you been? I'm well, thank you, I assured them, brushing off the awkwardness of our prolonged separation. Carter's been away for a while. Sorry we haven't been able to connect. Don't worry about it, they reassured me. We're family, after all, bound by something special. And so we were. Despite the distance, Carter and I shared something resilient, like the air itself, always there, unseen but vital. Now, with his parents here in Mississippi, it felt even more tangible. Let's visit the Windsor ruins today, I suggested, eager to play tour guide. As we wandered through the storied remains, my father-in-law marveled, these ruins are magnificent, much like the McMurphy Johnson house back home. He recounted the earthquake 6 years prior that had left parts of the historic Oregon house beyond repair. Such a loss, he lamented. With that, we moved on to Mississippi's petrified forest, spending the day exploring. I dedicated myself to showcasing the state's treasures, hoping to bridge the gap that time and distance had created in our family tapestry. My mother-in-law's admiration for Jackson was evident, and she flirted with the idea of making it her home. I've grown quite fond of Mississippi, she confessed. Brittany, would it be too much to ask to stay a bit longer? Of course not, I assured her, handing over a spare key. Feel free to make yourself at home while I'm at work. I had expected a brief stay, perhaps 4 or 5 days, but a week passed, and my in-laws showed no signs of leaving. I decided it was time to address the situation. If you're serious about staying, I can offer a lease for $600 a month, I proposed, willing to move in with my parents temporarily. My father-in-law's reaction was swift and sharp. Are you really asking your own family for rent money? He demanded, visibly upset. Let's not overreact, my mother-in-law intervened, diffusing the tension, though I was left feeling uneasy. How about this compromise? I suggested. You just cover the utilities, electricity, water, and gas. Those are your expenses. The following week, at work, my phone rang with an unexpected urgency. Hello, Brittany? This is Brian from Front Hills Management. There's been a report of a leak from your apartment. Can you come right away? We need your permission to proceed. Despite the urgency, slipping away from work wasn't an option. I managed to arrange a quick dash home during my lunch break. Upon arrival, the property manager was waiting. Brittany, this is quite the surprise. What brings you back in such a rush? What about work? The property manager inquired, his brow furrowed with concern. I had to rush over. The neighbors reported a water leak from our unit, I explained, breathless from the urgency. A leak? He seemed puzzled. I wasn't aware. Whether my in-laws were genuinely oblivious or simply feigning ignorance, I couldn't tell. Excusing myself, I made a beeline for the laundry area. As I'd suspected, the washing machine hose had come loose again, gushing water with every cycle. Here's the problem, I pointed out, leading the manager downstairs to inspect the damage. The stain on the ceiling below our apartment was spreading ominously, mirroring my growing sense of dismay. My mother-in-law peered into the laundry room, her face a mask of embarrassment, before quickly withdrawing. I found myself downstairs, apologizing profusely to our neighbors, cookies in hand as a peace offering. Later, an invoice from the property management for repairs landed in my inbox. When I broached the subject with my mother-in-law, her reaction was defensive. Are you suggesting we leave because of this? Just like that? Her tone was a mix of anger and challenge. But it wasn't just the water leak. Brian, the ever-patient property manager, was on the line again with more complaints. What now? I braced myself, feeling a knot tighten in my stomach. It's about your father-in-law's evening balcony performances. They've been a bit disruptive, Brian relayed with a hint of awkwardness. I wanted to vent, to let out all the frustration, but I held it back, maintaining a steady voice. I'll speak with him, I assured Brian, already dreading the conversation ahead. I was resolute. This time, I wouldn't let things slide. Returning to the apartment, I found an absence where my in-laws should have been, and a note on the table, "Thank you for the hospitality. We're off to Seattle." That's it? My voice rose in disbelief. They had left without covering their utility bills, and the apartment was a mess. Could you please take out your trash? I muttered to the empty rooms. With a heavy heart, I moved back into my apartment from my parents' place. Then, unexpectedly, Carter called. "Mom and Dad love your place. I'm giving it to them as a gift," he said, as if it was the most natural decision in the world. "If you're not okay with it, maybe we shouldn't be married." I could almost hear my mother-in-law's laughter in the background as they left what was once our shared space. They had maneuvered Carter into pressuring me to give up the apartment. How had it come to this? Should I relinquish the apartment I had finally made my own, or should I let go of my marriage? The answer seemed clear. With a heavy sigh, I made my choice. 2 days later, Carter didn't text, he called. There will be consequences, he warned, after his ultimatum of apartment or divorce. Without hesitation, I sent the divorce papers his way, express delivery. His anger at my defiance was palpable. Within days, a meeting with my boss yielded a shocking twist, a transfer to Dallas. It seemed my ex, wielding his personnel clout, sought to unsettle me, but my grip on the apartment remained firm. The memory is etched in my mind. The apartment dilemma loomed. Should I offer it to his parents? A visit to the legal affairs office at work made it clear. I was untethered from my ex and his kin, free to rent as I pleased. I wasted no time. A call to the in-laws, now back in Portland, and the deal was struck. They were eager, surprisingly so. No, this wasn't coercion, they cherished the place. My offer, a flat $700 monthly, utilities and repairs included from their tenancy's end, met with immediate acceptance. In Dallas, my focus shifted to the internal selection exam, a gateway for the few to ascend the military's upper ranks. The command staff course loomed, daunting yet prestigious, a crucible designed to forge unit commanders. Enduring the examination and a grueling year of training was the price for this honor. Success meant deployment as a commander, a testament to resilience and expertise. My ambition wasn't about outshining others or wielding power. I was driven to surpass my ex-husband's rank, to validate my own capabilities. And, in a twist of fate, I soared over a significant hurdle, securing my spot in the command staff course on my first try. Take note, Carter, I mused silently, the ultimate comeback is on its way. Those who join the command staff course earn a chance to attend the esteemed military officer school, nestled in New York, my ex's stomping grounds. Given his role in personnel, he'd inevitably learn of my triumph. Yet, I chose silence over contact, and he extended no olive branch. 6 months in, I was commanding a unit in Nebraska, shaping the minds and skills of soldiers. Coincidentally, my ex was also posted there, at the hub of military community relations. My ascent through the ranks, courtesy of the selection exam, had quietly eclipsed his. The day arrived for a senior officer's training in Nebraska. "Excuse me, but your rank seems to surpass mine." "How so?" he inquired, confronting me amid a crowd of high-ranking officers. Their surprise was palpable, their glances inquisitive. I addressed his question with a nonchalance that belied the depth of our shared history. I knew, deep inside, that I was no longer bound to someone who shared my sense of right and wrong. The Sunday was resplendent, skies clear and sunshine abundant. It was the base's annual open day, a rare chance for civilians to mingle with the military. Tanks, displayed on the grounds, drew cheers from an enthralled crowd of all ages. The combat simulation was equally riveting. Soldiers rappelled from a helicopter onto the helipad, their swift, precise movements commanding awe. Civilians thronged to snap photos with the camouflaged soldiers, and commemorative merchandise, especially the adorable bears, sold briskly. As the training coordinator, I manned a booth where civilians could attempt the forward-leaning rest position alongside active servicemen. That's when he appeared, my ex-husband, flanked by the Parents Association. In an instant, a tumult of emotions roared within me, a perfect storm of past grievances seeking an outlet. Could there be a better moment for retribution? I mused. Too golden to forego, don't you agree, sir? Spotting them, I waved them over. "Dear Mom and Dad, care to join?" Without a second's delay, I drew my ex-husband and former in-laws to our booth. With resolve, I placed an iron helmet upon his head, aligning him with the servicemen. In the military, we use numbers, not names. It's a matter of efficiency, I explained. I'll call out, and we'll start the count. The person on the right kicks off with 1, and so we go. And that's how I nudged my ex-husband to the far right, unwittingly primed to lead the count. The lineup was a mix of servicemen and civilians, each eager to participate. "First up, let's see some speed," I said, eyeing my ex-husband, who stood with a soldier's rigidity. The urge to laugh bubbled up within me, it was all too amusing. "Let's get into the forward-leaning rest position," I announced, and the instructor, a serviceman, succinctly demonstrated the posture. After a few practice rounds, the participants caught on, and it was my cue to lead. "Today, we initiate intensive combat drills," I declared. "Be aware of your muzzle direction." To those unarmed, I joked, "Just imagine it." I directed the 9 participants. "Aim at that tree ahead. Move out. The enemy's distant, stay low, run, use the tree as cover. Keep your weapons trained on the enemy, move in a bounding overwatch," I instructed. "First up, provide cover and advance." I set a brisk pace, challenging my ex-husband with firm commands. "What's the holdup, number 1? Pick up the pace." He moved hesitantly. "You're too exposed, lower your profile. Dangers all around, remember?" I prodded him. "Thinking of quitting, number 1?" Down on the ground, he crawled, rifle in tow, the heat unforgiving. Struggling, he managed a faint response, barely audible. "Can't hear you, number 1. Louder." I called out. And then, from the crowd, laughter erupted, a release of tension, a moment of shared humor and humanity. The onlookers, oblivious to the undercurrents of our past, were tickled by the sight of a female commander directing a male soldier with such authority. Yet, my ex-husband's parents watched with tight-lipped disapproval. In the military's rigid hierarchy, my ex, once my superior, had relished his dominance over me, both professionally and personally. In the military community, where even spouses are ranked, my in-laws had once looked down on me, basking in the prestige their son's rank afforded, a prestige owed more to his position than his merit. Driven by this, I aced the selection exam, flipping the script entirely. That day, vindication washed over me as I stood tall before my ex and his parents, who had mistakenly believed him invincible. My rebuke left an indelible mark, so much so that days later, my ex-in-laws announced their intention to vacate the apartment. Now, commuting from my own space rather than my parents', I've reclaimed my independence. And despite the occasional run-in with my ex, his chagrined expression has become an unwitting source of private amusement.